law. The patrol is kicking off a new program in May called Coast Watch. Works a lot like the neighborhood crime watch programs. If you see a boater breaking the law, they want you to report it immediately. The Marine Patrol also hopes Coast Watch will nab more fishermen who violate net ban laws.
Knowing how a burglar thinks might help you sleep better at night. Next in an Eyewitness Extra, learning the tricks of their trade before it's too late.
And later this morning, the ambulance is on the way, but what do you do until it gets there? Tips that can save a life when seconds count. And it's winter white out west, their forecast, and our own right here in South Florida. Coming up. Stay tuned.
Miata.
You know I love the highway.
The best-selling sports car in the world.
I love to watch the world unfold.
Automobile Magazine's All-Star.
You know I love the highway.
6 years in a row.
I got a passion for the road.
Lease one for the amazing low price of only $219.
Passion.
Miata.
Mazda. I got a passion for the road.
I don't see my wrinkles as much. I used to know exactly where to put this. It must really be working.
Nivea Visage Anti-Wrinkle Cream moisturizes skin while diminishing the fine lines that come with life.
I wonder how I'd feel if I wasn't aging well. I don't plan to ever find out.
The beauty of healthy skin. Nivea. We're building the most advanced cellular network in the world for the Olympic Games. And for you. Bell South Mobility.
Only one defined agility like Edwin Moses. Only one embodied control like Evelyn Ashford. Only one personified endurance like Frank Shorter. Only one runs like this. Seville STS with the North Star system. The great performers are always creating a higher standard.
Eyewitness News weather is brought to you by Woodfield Country Club, Boca's grand finale.
Absolutely incredibly fabulous, isn't it? Hi, I'm Robin Leach here at Woodfield Country Club, the last remaining community in Boca Raton where you can live in a brand new country club home. Believe me, I've been all over the world and there simply isn't a more indulging place to live. So visit Woodfield today.
Woodfield Country Club, Boca's grand finale.
Because like all this fine food, the fine homes at Woodfield will soon be gone too.
Now, people in Las Vegas are probably saying enough is enough. Unseasonably cold temperatures hit Vegas last night, dumping a pretty good bit of snow for there. Anyway, temperatures dipped into the low 30s. A winter storm warning is in effect still for the higher parts out of the southwest.
That's nothing. They got nothing there.
That's Las Vegas, though. That's out in the desert.
They shut the city down.
They're not used to it there.
Yeah, well, you can imagine if that happened here, it would be a big story, too.
Oh,
yeah,
They don't get a whole lot of snow in Las Vegas. And
Touche.
it's usually a hot time at the casino, but not so yesterday. Huh?
Right.
We got some cold weather out west. And we've got very warm weather here in the southeast and Florida. We're going to be coming close again to some record highs. We've only missed by about 2 or 3 degrees each of the past few days. Take a look at the temperatures outdoors right now, and we're in the 60s and 70s across the state, just about the entire state from north to south. Here in South Florida, 67 right here. Kendall, 64. Homestead, 64. Fort Lauderdale, 66. 63 at West Palm Beach. 73 at Key West. Surf at 72. Pressure is on the rise at 30.04. Humidity at 93% this morning, and the wind is calm. We have reports of some patchy, dense fog, mainly inland areas. You get west of the turnpike, it becomes a problem, but east of there, it's not too bad. Dew point this morning at 65. We have a big batch of thunderstorms over the middle of the country right now, and you can see that the seasons are beginning to change. I know it's still February, but spring is right around the corner, and we're already beginning to notice the battling air masses, the very warm and the very cold. Snow, heavy snow across North and South Dakota, most of Minnesota right now, and we're talking about highs here approaching record values in the middle 80s here across most of South Florida today. So there's a big temperature contrast and a big line of thunderstorms firing up. across portions of Illinois, especially around Illinois, Springfield, Illinois, getting some severe thunderstorms right now. That's a cold front that will threaten our weather by the upcoming weekend. Southeast winds at 10, 1 to 3 foot seas. Bay waters a light chop. It's going to be sunny to partly cloudy and another warm day today. 80 on the beach, 85 away from the water. Fair skies, patchy fog tonight, mainly inland sections. Lows down to 65 degrees. Tomorrow, another day just like today, just like the past week or so. We'll call it partly cloudy, warm, highs of 85 for just about everybody tomorrow. Continued warm with a chance of showers by Friday, but unfortunately, I see a change coming. There's a better chance of rain as we head into the weekend. Lee?
Thank you, John. Here's a quick look at today's top stories. The United Nations has come out this morning and formally condemned Cuba's downing of 2 brothers to the rescue planes. Meanwhile, a former brother's pilot is condemning the South Florida group on Cuban television. And Pat Buchanan in Arizona for one of 3 primaries today with his fingers crossed and defending his supporters. And Metro Day detectives working Friday's deadly tourist attack travel across the world to talk to the victim's husband about the suspects in custody.
Moving on to sports, the Dolphins trying hard to find ways to keep players from defecting. And an old big pro taking his game overseas. Jimmy Cefalo with Daybreak Sports.
Good morning, everyone. The loss of Brian Cox by the Miami Dolphins may be just the beginning of several defections for this football team. Troy Vincent is next in line. He was given an offer sheet by the Eagles, but one that will be difficult to match for the Dolphins, who are trying to find new ways around their salary cap problems. Now, they could draw a line in the sand with Marco Coleman. We have conflicting reports this morning. One source tells us that Coleman has already received an offer from San Diego. The Chargers, though, deny it. A second source tells us that the Chargers believe that they will lose Coleman because the signing of Vincent by the Eagles would embarrass the Dolphins, forcing them to open the wallet for Coleman. Both players were given the transition label, but if they leave, the Dolphins would receive no compensation in return. The effects could be devastating for Jimmy Johnson's first team in 1996. One player the Dolphins may be willing to part with is guard Keith Sims. The Dolphins were unhappy with his play last year. One coach told me that Sims was not worth the money he was paid a year ago, and he's looking to nearly double his salary for 96. Sims paid a visit to the Bengals yesterday. Elsewhere, after a one-year layoff, William the Refrigerator Perry is returning to the gridiron. He signed on with the London Monarchs of the World League yesterday. The 350-pound defensive tackle spent 8 years with the Bears and 2 with the Eagles. Now to basketball. Knicks forward J.R. Reid has been suspended for 2 games and fined $10,000 for an elbow to the mouth of A.C. Green during Sunday's game in Phoenix. Green may be out some money, but look at it this way. Green lost 2 teeth due to that flagrant foul. He's not expected to miss any time at all. Look at the NBA scores from last night. It was Utah on top of Phoenix, and in overtime, Indiana topped Boston by a score of 122 to 119. The Panthers are off until Thursday night when they'll host the Washington Capitals at the arena. By that time, the much rumored trade of Wayne Gretzky may actually have taken place. It now appears that Gretzky will be traded to the St. Louis Blues. In fact, Gretzky himself said yesterday that a trade was imminent. Just one score for you from the NHL. It was Gretzky's Kings being beaten by Winnipeg, the final there, 4-3. That'll do it in sports. I'll see you in a few minutes.
Thank you, Jimmy. Time now 6:17. Most of people would agree your home gives you a sense of security, but that security can quickly be shattered. And that's why it's crucial to know burglars' trade secrets. In an Eyewitness Extra, Eye on Crime reporter Gail Bright shows us how fragile the walls around us really are.
Time after time, homeowners victimized in one of the most common committed crimes in South Florida.
Doesn't cause the victim any pain physically, but it's, I think personally, one of the, you know, they often say, I feel I've been violated when they come home and find their house torn up.
Such was the case for this Kendall woman who asked not to be identified. She arrived home in the afternoon only to find that her front doors with double bolt locks were kicked in.
Had a disconnect on the phones. They went into the drawers, took the computer.
Along with the stolen items, the victim told me, she was robbed of her spirit and her sense of security. Not even her neighbors who were home at the time could do anything to stop it.
An alarm, an alarm. And within 1 minute, I heard a car speed away.
But even with an alarm, police say, the burglar knows he has at least a couple of minutes to get in and get out.
A normal unoccupied burglary in progress is not routine per se. We get there in a hurry, but it's not lights and siren.
And police say they don't have to be crafty to get in.
Apparently he jumped over this fence, came over to the double glass doors here. These doors, when they put in, they just have a deep bar on top, and they slide in, and the bottom just swoops in. And if you don't have any way to keep the bottom from being pulled out, you just lift it up a little bit, get it out of the lock, and give it a yank.
Along with some credit cards, the burglar in this case made off with the one thing Dave Carmen says he had to protect himself from this very crime.
He searched the bed area, and under the mattress under here, I used to keep that .45, and he found that, and that was gone.
In some cases, homeowners come home and surprise their burglars, as was the case with Jenny Leyva. She saw a strange car in her driveway and suspected something was wrong, but she went in anyway.
And I walked inside. It's been the second time, so I was angry, and I wanted to see who could just intrude in my house whenever he wanted.
Big mistake, police say, because that burglar, caught off guard, could have had a gun and used it. Fortunately for Jenny, her thief got scared and ran away. Even so, the crime forced her to take extra security measures, which she says shouldn't be necessary.
And it's unfair that we're the ones behind the bars and not them.
The number of burglaries being committed in both Dade and Broward counties is down. Even so, the numbers are disturbing. With me is Bob Portnier. He has served 8 years in prison for committing home burglaries. He's now a security consultant, and over the next couple days, he's going to educate us on how to keep our home from becoming a burglar's next target. Bob, how are you going to do that?
Well, what we're going to do tonight, Gail, is we're going to show people exactly how a criminal targets a neighborhood, how to use a vehicle to case that neighborhood, and then how to use a phony survey to get additional information from the residents to add, where they're going to target, what houses, time of day, what have you. That's exactly what we're going to do tonight.
And then tomorrow night, Bob is going to be breaking into a house on live television, the home of a Channel 10 employee, to show you how quickly they get in and what they look for when they're inside. In Miami, Gail Bright, Channel 10 Eyewitness News, Daybreak.
Certainly something that would make you very angry. And if you're angry, you should watch. Check it out coming up. On the way, she is one sweet sea cow finally heading home. We'll have the latest chapter in the saga, or what's become the saga, of Sweet Pea the manatee. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
And it's just about the biggest bake-off around, so whose creative cakes rise to the occasion? We'll let you know right after Mr. Food with something sweet.
Which of these honeys would you like to use? This dark one or this light one? Let's look at them all. We'll see.
You go to pass a slow-moving motorist. The road ahead appears clear. Suddenly, a semi comes out of nowhere. Which would you rather have for your defense? Dual airbags, or what's been called the best V6 engine in the world? How about both? The Maxima from Nissan. Now lease a Maxima GXE for 0 down and $299 a month for 39 months.
Funny, I never thought this would wind up being my favorite room in the house. It's the only place where I can pay attention to me.
Introducing Nivea Light Lotion, a moisturizer light enough to be absorbed quickly into the skin, but rich enough to last 12 hours.
I think I'll wear a skirt today.
The beauty of healthy skin. Nivea.
luxury performance sedans in the world, there is one that has caught America's eye. Aurora by Oldsmobile.
Mr. Food is brought to you by Minute Maid Premium Frozen Concentrated Orange Juice.
Got a minute? It's the Sunshine Showdown. Minute Maid Premium Frozen Concentrated Orange Juice challenges Tropicana Pure Premium Chilled Orange Juice.
Which do you prefer? This one. I like this one better than that. Oh my goodness, it's Minute Maid.
This one. Minute Maid. It tastes like a squeezed orange.
Are you surprised? It surprises me that I like the Minute Maid frozen one.
Tastes like more natural orange juice.
Try Minute Maid Premium Frozen Concentrated Orange Juice and let your taste decide.
It tastes freshly squeezed.
I'll definitely buy Minute Maid.
Welcome back, 623. You know, color can make a world of difference, and so can flavor when you talk about honey. Mr. Food has a look at them all this morning so you can have a little something sweet to eat.
We get a load of questions about honey. I mean, is one color better than another? Some is dark, some is light. Is it as sweet as sugar? What's creamed honey? There's no surprise there's confusion, because there are over 300 varieties of honey all across America. Some are light in color, some dark as can be, some light tasting, some more pronounced. You see, it all depends on what location and what flowers the bees get the nectar from. Well, look at some of these. Orange blossom and wildflower and buckwheat and avocado, certainly clover. That's the big one around the country. But there are so many more. Now, honey, which has even more sweetening power than sugar, should not be kept in the refrigerator. It'll hold covered right on your shelf. And, you know, if it crystallizes, hardens up on you, just put the jar or container in some warm water till the crystals dissolve, and it's back to normal. Although, two varieties we don't see much, sage honey and Tupelo honey, don't crystallize. They stay clear. And besides the liquid ones, honey comes in the natural comb, which is also edible, as the comb inside liquid honey, as creamed or spun honey, which is like a whipped crystallized honey that's great for spreading. You know, outside the U.S., that's the way it's mostly used. And it sure is fun trying different flavors and forms, because it's a natural home-style way to sweeten and enrichen so many of our goodies. Why, we could say that it's like a ooh, it's so good. Yeah.
And that's really, really good. Hey, some chefs who might just give Mr. Food a run for his money got together. The finals took place in Dallas yesterday in the 37th annual Pillsbury Bake-Off. People from across the nation got busy with their best baking secrets. The grand prize winner will receive $1 million, plus an appearance on a national morning news show.
People packed in Aventura Theater last night for the premiere of Up Close and Personal. The film, starring Robert Redford and Michelle Pfeiffer, is about a small-town girl determined to become a big-time TV reporter and anchor. Along the way, she falls in love with an older newsman. Look closely. You may see some familiar faces from Eyewitness News. It's a moment every parent has to face, and the first couple is no exception, teaching your child how to drive. Chelsea turned 16 today, and the First Lady and the President say they're still trying to stall Chelsea from applying for her driver's license. The First Lady calls the situation very scary. Apparently, the President hasn't driven himself for the last 12 years.
Okay.
Some South Florida students escape a potentially deadly explosion, and wait till you hear who's behind the bomb scare and how they learned to make it. That's next.
Very scary story. Also, we are learning more about that South Florida pilot reportedly in Cuban custody. Unraveling some of this mystery for you, Eyewitness News Daybreak returns in a few moments.
I would like all my friends to be there. I want my mother to be there. My hair's gonna be done so beautiful. A lot of music, a nice blue dress. I want to be beautiful for every single person that goes there. If I got shot, I want to have a nice funeral.
Every day, 10 children are killed by gunfire. Help stop the violence. Call 1-800-WE-PREVENT for free information. Not one more lost life. Not one more grieving family. Not one more.
A parent's guiding hand. Wallace, your bear. A mother's hug. Once, these made you feel safe and warm. Now you need something more, like Buick Skylark. A car with more standard safety features than any in its class. Because now you're grown up. For the most part, anyway. Skylark, a secure place to be.
Everybody has morning breath. Unfortunately, not everybody has scope.
Pop, I'm getting married.
On March 8th, two families will meet.
It's a nightmare.
And anything could happen.
I feel like I'm insane.
The Birdcage, a Mike Nichols film, rated R, starts Friday, March 8th.
Richard Toomey, first lieutenant in the United States Army, was the first black commissioned as an officer in the Spanish-American War. After the war, he acquired a law degree, and in 1912 became the first black to practice law in South Florida. He became widely known and respected as a strong advocate for civil and social causes and was often viewed as the official spokesman for Miami's black community. I'm Marty Fine with a moment in black history.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. It's Eyewitness News Daybreak. I'm Doug Dunbar.
I'm Lee Davalos. Angry words from the United Nations for Fidel Castro in Cuba is a watered-down decision made after a marathon session that just ended this morning.
From Cuban television, we are learning more about the former Brothers to the Rescue pilot who's condemning his once fellow flyers.
And Pat Buchanan may be building even more momentum moving into today's primaries in Arizona and the Dakotas.
Good morning again. It's coming up on 6:30. After 16 hours of meetings, the UN Security Council has made its decision about the Cuban air crisis. Just about 2 hours ago, the group formally condemned Cuba's downing of the two Brothers to the Rescue planes. The council began meeting yesterday with Cuban officials to hear their case on the shoot-down. The council said this morning it strongly deplores the shooting by the Cuban Air Force. Cuba's foreign minister is accusing President Clinton of using this incident to try and score points for his re-election campaign. Now, the United States led the UN Security Council in condemning the shoot-down, and that condemnation comes after a former Brothers to the Rescue pilot admitted on Cuban television last night that he, in fact, was a spy for Castro while in the U.S. Juan Pablo Roque, a former Cuban Air Force pilot, defected to the U.S. in 1992. He joined Brothers to the Rescue and became part of South Florida's Cuban exile community. But Roque disappeared last Friday, 2 days before the shoot-downs. Cuban exiles say they feel betrayed. Roque recently wrote about his life in a book entitled Deserter. He criticized the Cuban government.
Everyone has wondered what course of action the White House would take. The Clinton administration wasted no time in figuring out a way to punish Cuba for the shoot-downs. After a weekend of meetings with security officials, President Clinton decided that tightening the squeeze on Cuba's economy is the best course of action for the government to take.
For the attack. We must be clear. This shooting of civilian aircraft out of the air was a flagrant violation of international law. It is wrong, and the United States will not tolerate it.
Meantime, retired U.S. Navy Admiral Eugene Carroll says the United States should have seen the incident coming. Carroll met with Cuban officials who complained they'd had enough of the Brothers to the Rescue flyovers and warned that they would take some action. Here's a breakdown of the U.S. sanctions. President Clinton has suspended charter travel to Havana, demanded reparations for the victims' families, and expanded Radio Marti, the U.S. network that broadcasts into Cuba. The president also gave his support to the Helms-Burton bill, which would expand the sanctions against Cuba.
And apparently those sanctions just aren't going to do it. The man who heads Brothers to the Rescue and returned safely from this weekend's mission says the president's sanctions just are not tough enough.
That was an assassination, a political assassination act from the Cuban government on Brothers to the Rescue. They took it upon themselves to finish Brothers to the Rescue. Apparently we were a threat too big for them to handle.
We feel that is a very weak response to a very criminal act of the Cuban government, a premeditated, very well-planned act.
Now, as for the Cuban government, it says the White House is distorting all the facts. Ricardo Alarcon defended Cuba's action, saying that Brothers to the Rescue pilots violated Cuba's airspace, and he says they have proof. Alarcon says Cuba has recordings of cockpit conversations as well as radar trackings to back up its case. And we'll ask you to keep it right here on Channel 10 for all the very latest on the Cuban air crisis. We'll have more on that mystery pilot who's returned to Cuba, and we'll also update you on what's happening in Washington as it pertains to the shoot-down.
In other news, two 14-year-olds could be charged with attempted murder for their alleged role in a school bomb scare. The 8th graders are already charged with armed burglary, building a destructive device, and arson. Police say the Pompano Beach students admit to planting a gasoline bomb in their teacher's classroom because they didn't like her. Apparently, they learned how to make the bomb on the internet. The bomb was rigged to a fluorescent light and set to explode when turned on. Police were able to defuse it first after a teacher discovered the device over the weekend. Investigators want to check out the medical records of the teenager behind the wheel of this fatal accident. Troopers say 9 kids were in the two-door Honda when it crashed in Boca Raton Friday night. 5 teens died, 4 others were hurt, including the driver. Troopers say Nicholas Copertino was speeding. There were funerals yesterday for 2 of the victims, and friends placed crosses and flowers near the crash site.
2 Metro-Dade police detectives are in Holland this morning. They are there to meet with Gerrit Jan Dieperink today. He is the Dutchman whose wife was shot and killed Friday in a tourist attack in Miami. Investigators want to show Dieperink pictures of the 3 suspects that they now have in custody to see if he can identify them. Tosca Dieperink, his wife, was shot and killed on Friday during a botched robbery at a Miami gas station.
Bob Dole's presidential campaign moves south with 2 new faces at the top. Dole campaigned yesterday in Georgia. Yesterday, he replaced his top strategist and pollster. The move came on the eve of the Arizona primary and 5 days before the South Carolina primary. Pat Buchanan is already in Arizona for today's primary there. Buchanan defended his supporters yesterday, saying they're not extremists, rather good Americans. Buchanan visited a gun show in Phoenix over the weekend to show his opposition to gun control. Hillary Clinton and Tipper Gore went back to school yesterday. They paid a visit to a Philadelphia elementary school. First Lady and Mrs. Gore toured the school and talked with the students, and they later talked with parents and teachers.
Problem with weather. Other news from around the nation, and police in Utah blaming slush and ice for a big pileup there. At least 80 cars and 3 tractor-trailers were involved in this big chain reaction bang-up in Salt Lake City. The accident blocked the highway for hours while crews worked to clear away all the wrecked cars.
A wayward Florida manatee is coming home with a little help from some friends. Sweet Pea managed to swim all the way to Texas. She was rescued in December from a sewage treatment plant in Houston. SeaWorld will fly Sweet Pea back to Florida today. She'll be released at a state reserve on the West Coast.
6:35, another warm morning on the way into work, and the only thing on the horizon, I guess, a little rain later you're talking, huh?
Well, you know, we are due. It's been very, very dry. In fact, the entire month we've seen less than an inch of rain for the whole month of February here in South Florida. Some rain is on the way, but it won't be anytime soon. We're probably talking maybe late Friday and Saturday as finally the first cold front in a long time begins to approach the area. In the meantime, though, enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. 67 here in Miami, 64 in Kendall, 64 in Homestead, 73 Miami Beach, Kendall at 66, West Palm Beach at 63, Key West at 73, Surf at 72. Pressure this morning on the rise, the humidity at 93%, the wind is calm and the dew point at 65. Look at the big thunderstorms over the middle of the country. The radar is picking these up very nicely. Very intense thunderstorms from Missouri into Illinois on up into Wisconsin. And temperatures in some parts of Illinois are in the 30s, and they're getting some vicious thunderstorms right now. An absolutely terrible morning there. So they get the award, if you want to call it that, for the worst weather around the nation this morning, the entire state there. That spreads into portions of Ohio. It's now heading toward western Pennsylvania as well. A lot of clouds around the nation, as you can see, although the eastern seaboard is in the clear right now. This entire area from Maine all the way down through the northeast, the mid-Atlantic, all the way down into the southeast and down into Florida, looking at great weather. 39 in New York City right now, 49 at Washington, D.C., 44 in Chicago right now, and again, some big rain and thunderstorms around the middle of the country. That system could affect our weather by the weekend. Southeast winds at 10, 1 to 3 foot seas, a light chop in the bay waters today. Another good day for the boaters. Sunny to partly cloudy, another warm day. If you're heading down to the beach, you got a good one today as well. 80 at the beach, 85 inland. Fair, some patchy fog inland late tonight. Low temperatures down into the middle 60s. Partly cloudy and warm tomorrow. Highs getting up into the middle 80s again. The record highs for this date are in the mid to upper 80s every day this week. So we're coming very close to record highs. It'll continue warm on Thursday and Friday, but some showers could move in by Friday. Unfortunately, an even better chance of rain over the weekend. Lee?
Thank you, John. 6:37. Let's get a check on traffic now with Tony Parker in for Dave Slater. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Lee. Thank you. Good morning. We've got a car fire now in Dade County, but I'll tell you about that in a bit. If you're traveling in Broward, an accident involving a tractor trailer and a car northbound on I-95 at the New River Bridge. That's north of 595. Also, the Turnpike Sawgrass moving up to speed, building traffic now on the roads into downtown Fort Lauderdale, but still moving steady. In Dade County, that car fire I told you about on the Palmetto, that's northbound on the exit ramp to 67th Ave. That's going to cost you a few minutes. Other than that, things moving along on the Turnpike and I-95 in Dade. Have a great Tuesday.
Thank you, Tony. News that you can use moments away. It's just about the most popular selling family sedan. Thousands are now being recalled. Safety steps for Taurus owners and more just moments away.
And high-tech happenings at Disney World that could keep you out of those long lines. The details when Daybreak comes right back.
Grand Prix of Miami, presented by Toyota at the Homestead Motorsports Complex. For tickets, call 230-5215.
This is a Children First community calendar.
Miami Children's Hospital is seeking volunteers in various areas. Call the Volunteer Resource Department at 662-8225. On Saturday, March 9th, the Village of Key Biscayne will hold its 4th annual Health, Fitness, and Safety Fair at Village Green Park. Call 365-8901 for more information. Don't miss an afternoon of glamour at Atlantis Academy's 5th annual fashion show and silent auction on Saturday, March 2nd. Proceeds benefit students with special needs. Call 271-9771.
This community calendar is brought to you by the Children First Partners, Winn-Dixie, Circuit City, South Florida Ford dealers, and the one and only Channel 10.
Eyewitness News Sports is brought to you by the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
How can this be car of the year? You can't get up and walk around in a car. Cars don't have seats on rollers. Or so many seats, period. Or so much space for so many things. And they certainly don't offer sliding doors on both sides. Well then, it would appear that for the first time ever, the Motor Trend Car of the Year is more than a car. It's a caravan from the new Dodge.
Good morning once again, everyone. The loss of Brian Cox may just be the first of several defections for Jimmy Johnson in the Miami Dolphin football team. There are many other unrestricted free agents the Dolphins have got to worry about, like Troy Vincent. You know about this one. He was given a big offer by the Eagles just last week. It's going to be tough for Jimmy Johnson to match that because, well, to be quite frank, Jimmy Johnson has having some problems with the salary cap. Now, the Dolphins could draw a line in the sand with Marco Coleman. We've got a couple of reports this morning, and they are conflicting. One source tells us that Coleman has already been given a very large offer by San Diego, but right now the Chargers are denying that. Now, a second source is telling us the Chargers believe that they won't be able to sign Coleman because if Vincent does sign with the Eagles, then the Dolphins might be embarrassed into opening up the wallet and trying to convince Coleman to come back to Miami and sign here with Jimmy Johnson. That could be a problem because if both players leave, well, the Dolphins won't get any compensation whatsoever. That could be devastating. One player the Dolphins may be willing to part with is Keith Sims, the All-Pro guard. The Dolphins were unhappy with his play last year. In fact, two coaches told me they were unhappy with what he did a year ago. One said that he wasn't worth the money the Dolphins paid him last year, and now he's trying to double his salary for 1996. A couple of the teams interested in Sims, the Bengals, where he visited yesterday, and also the Phoenix Cardinals. Elsewhere, after a one-year layoff, you know, free agency can work for him, the refrigerator Perry, as well. He's not coming back to the NFL, but he is signing on with the London Monarchs of the World League. Yesterday, the 350-pound defensive tackle, who also plays a little fullback, signed on with the Monarchs. As you know, he spent 8 years with the Bears and 2 with the Eagles. And one note from basketball this morning, next forward J.R. Reed. He's been suspended for 2 games and fined $10,000 because he elbowed A.C. Green in the mouth on Sunday afternoon. Reed may be out some money and will lose a couple of games as well, but Green, well, he lost 2 teeth because of that flagrant foul. That'll do it in sports for this morning. I'll see you later on this afternoon.
Thank you, Jimmy. 6:40 now. Business news this morning begins with Ford's recall of some 1996 models. Ford Motor Company says there is a problem with the new models of the Taurus, the Mercury Sable, the Ford Thunderbird, and the Mercury Cougar. In more than 80,000 Tauruses and Sables, there's apparently a problem with an electrical switch that can give false readings for brake fluid. In about 100,000 Thunderbirds and Cougars, there's trouble with the defrosters. If you have any questions about your car, you should obviously call your dealer. You may only need to reach out and touch for entrance to Walt Disney's park soon. Disney's trying out a scanner that reads a ticket holder's fingerprints. Officials hope this will speed up the time people wait in lines and cut down on theft and forgery. The scanner will identify people by their index and middle fingers. This new system is going to be tested in the next few weeks.
Checking the morning markets this morning for you at 6:43. In Tokyo, the Nikkei average closed down more than 479 points. Gold opened in London at $398.80 an ounce. That's down $1. 15 cents from yesterday's close. On Wall Street, the Dow closed down more than 65 points. In selected Florida stocks, United Technologies and Carnival Cruise Lines closed down while Ryder remained unchanged. Also, Viacom and American Airlines closed down while Disney remained unchanged.
16 before the hour, on the way, another case where you, the consumer, may not be getting everything you're paying for. Why the FDA has its eye on the juice you drink and what you need to know.
That's next, and so is Christy's Eye on Health special report.
I'm Christy Kruger. Coming up on Daybreak, life-saving information to use when seconds count. What you do in an emergency can save your child's life or can make the situation worse. Tips for every parent and grandparent in just a moment.
67 degrees right now here in Miami. We're going up for a high of 85 this afternoon. My complete forecast for the next 5 days when we come back in just a few minutes.
Miata.
You know I love the highway.
The best-selling sports car in the world.
I love to watch the world unfold.
Automobile Magazine's All-Star.
You know I love the highway.
6 years in a row.
I got a passion for the road.
Lease one for the amazing low price of only $219.
Passion.
Miata.
I got a passion for the road.
In a life or death situation, you don't have much time.
911, do you have an emergency?
Paramedics don't arrive for at least 2 to 5 minutes.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
What should you do until they get there?
Basically, try to stay calm. Every little second counts.
Christy Kruger, a special Eye on Health report that could save lives.
He saved my life.
Find out how to take control when seconds count. Tonight, starting at 5 on Eyewitness News.
It's just that everything happens so fast.
It's funny. I never thought this would wind up being my favorite room in the house. It's the only place where I can pay attention to me.
Introducing Nivea Light Lotion. A moisturizer light enough to be absorbed quickly into the skin, but rich enough to last 12 hours.
I think I'll wear a skirt today.
The beauty of healthy skin. Nivea.
Now here's some really important news from your Lincoln Mercury dealer.
The Mercury Smart Money Sale is on now. Get 4.8% APR financing for 48 months or up to $1,000 cash back when you buy or lease 96 Mercuries.
Now that's big news.
And here's even bigger news. A better deal on Mercury Grand Marquis. $2,500 package savings plus $750 cash back for a total savings of up to $3,250. But hurry, $1,000 cash back and 4.8 financing ends soon.
Imagine yourself in a Mercury now.
Eye on Health is brought to you by Eckerd. It's right at Eckerd.
This is today's medicine. Not just tablets, but health forms, co-pays, insurance plans, drug interaction, prescriptions you take with meals or before bed, but not with dairy products. Then there's the question of brand names versus generics, and are you paying too much? And this is an Eckerd pharmacist. Someone who can simplify today's medicine and still offer prices so low they meet or beat AARP. It's the right care, the right cost, and it's right at Eckerd.
Welcome back to Daybreak. Time now 6:47. If you drink apple juice, you may not be getting all the nutrition you're paying for. The Food and Drug Administration is responding to claims that some products sold as 100% apple juice are actually diluted with sugar water. Last week, Minute Maid sued 6 suppliers of apple juice concentrate for allegedly selling diluted products. Minute Maid doesn't plan to pull its juice off store shelves because they say they are still safe to drink.
In this morning's Eye on Health, some life-saving advice. If your child or grandchild is sick or injured, would you know what to do? If the situation is serious and every minute matters, you call 911. But it could take an ambulance 5, maybe even 10 minutes to get to you. Christy Kruger shows you what to do and what not to do when seconds count.
Okay, we have help on the way, sir. What's the phone number you're calling from?
The ambulance is on the way, but for the next important minutes, your child's life is in your hands.
Our lives changed. Everything changed in just 5 minutes.
She just kept saying, my head hurts, I have a headache. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At that moment, you're God. You're the doctor. You're the surgeon. You're it.
They're called the golden minutes, those crucial seconds after an accident, a near drowning, a seizure.
Brain death.
sets in about 4 to 8 minutes.
During an emergency, what you do can mean the difference between life and death for your child. Doctors say there are a number of things you should do, but number one on the list is simply to stay calm.
All what he has is you. You can't lose your cool, because if you lose your cool, you lose him.
Puala Sandin knows what she's talking about. Last summer, her baby son Leandro suddenly stopped breathing. His heart stopped beating.
And I'm doing everything possible because I'm not going to let you go. You're here to stay.
Puala knew CPR. She breathed life into her baby. But experts say if you do CPR incorrectly, the outcome can be much different. You can actually stop a child's heart from beating if you do the wrong thing.
They may be blowing so hard that they could blow out an infant's lung. They may be compressing in the wrong spots. They may compress too hard, which could break ribs.
In some cases, experts say it's what you don't do during an emergency that can save a life.
But if the child has fallen, appears to be injured, or has any change in their ability to think, or they seem to be a little confused, don't move them, because they might have a head injury, they might have a spinal injury, and moving them might make any injury worse.
If it wasn't for them, I mean, I don't know where I'd be right now.
Almost 4 years ago, Amy Portwood, a cheerleader, was practicing stunts with friends when she fell 11 feet on her head. Her friends quickly did the right thing. They called 911 and kept Amy still.
It happened so quick that nobody really had a chance to be scared.
Amy's head injury was severe. Had her friends not acted quickly and so carefully, Amy wouldn't be here today.
I'm doing very good in school. I just got straight A's. I'm worrying about college and all of that stuff now.
We almost lost her, but she's here now, and she's my miracle.
Some other things to remember in an emergency. If a child is unconscious, don't shake or try to wake him. If your child is bleeding, simply apply pressure. A tourniquet is something used mainly in movies, not real life. Tonight at 5, more life-saving tips. We're bringing a CPR class right to you. Plus, find out what to do if your child is burned or has a very high fever. With an eye on health, I'm Christy Kruger.
And of course, we'll bring that CPR class to you tomorrow morning here on Daybreak. Stay tuned. Coming up, last look at your Tuesday weather and traffic.
That plus our morning mug just moments away, so don't go anywhere. But first, a sky-high view of South Florida, courtesy of our one and only First Union Tower Cam. Daybreak's coming right back.
When was the last time you played in the rain? Let your hair go wild. Flexed your muscles to the world. Stayed up past your bedtime. When was the last time you really had fun in a car? Riviera by Buick. Go ahead, express yourself.
In a life or death situation, you don't have much time.
911, do you have an emergency?
Paramedics don't arrive for at least 2 to 5 minutes.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
What should you do until they get there?
Basically, try to stay calm.
Every little second counts.
Christy Kruger, a special Eye on Health report that could save lives.
He saved my life.
Find out how to take control when seconds count. Tomorrow, starting at 5 on Eyewitness News.
It's just that everything happens fast.
Wednesday, all day, Macy's one-day sale. Savings, values in every department. Shop early, shop late.
Ever felt like doing something totally wild, really outrageous? Hello, I'm Jennifer Getz, board member of the Zoological Society of Florida. We have got just the event for you. With the Beats is South Florida's wildest fundraiser, offering exceptional food and the event benefits programs provided to Metro Zoo. Friday, March 1st is the date for this year's Beastly Feasts. South Florida's most satisfying night of grazing. Feast with the Beasts. For more, May 551.
You go to pass a slow-moving motorist. The road ahead appears clear. Suddenly, a semi comes out of nowhere. Which would you rather have for your defense? Called the best V6 engine in the world. The Maxima from Nissan. Now lease a Maxima G for $0 for 39 months.
Back to Daybreak. Time now 6:03 morning.
And John is here with a final look at your weather before you head out the door.
Looks very nice indeed. 57 degrees here in Miami right now, 73 on the beach. Kendall and Homestead, Balti 4 degrees. Fort Lauderdale 66, 63 at West Beach, Key West 73, and the surf 72. Pressure is on the rise at 30.04%. The wind is calm. We have reports of fog over this morning that might slow you down a little bit. Be careful as you in the midst. So it is a bit on the muggy side. Southeast winds at 10, 1 east, and they get a sunny to partly cloudy. Another warm day. High 80 at the beach, 85 over the inlands, some inland low 65 degrees. Tomorrow, you a warm day. Temperatures at everybody as the wind becomes more easterly. It'll continue warm. Next chance of showers not until Friday. That's just a chance, but a better as we head the weekend. Have a few minor slowdowns.
On that car fire still works down 67th Avenue, causing also an accident at the Airport Expressway at the Plaza. In Broward County, we've got an accident in a car that's northbound at Bridge, causing quite a delay there. Another accident at 441 that Brook Road. Hollywood. Other than that, the major roadways moving along in Broward. Palm Beach, we've got a tractor-trailer truck leaking some fuel that's northbound under the gateway on I-95. Now, when fire trucks get out, and great, just a little bit.
Thanks, Tony. South Florida and the Nat. Good morning, I'm cast of Miami. Well, today's shows in Key West. Crews got busy yesterday in getting up the self-shown. Charles will broadcast live. You can catch the show in just a few minutes right here on Channel 10.
Before we go, though, today's morning mug is anything but shy, according to her mother, Rita Kearney from Fort Lauderdale. Her mom says Rita gets up early for school and wants to see whose pictures on Daybreak each and every day. So finally, you are our star this morning. Thanks for sending in your mug, Rita. And if you'd like to get your mug on Channel 10's Morning Mug Shot, send it to 3900 Biscayne Boulevard, Miami, Florida, 33137.
What a great smile she had.
Beauty.
And we should be smiling too.
Oh, the weather is just unbelievable. It's going to be a lot of sad faces, though, once this weather changes, because I think we've gotten used to this, haven't we?
Okay. We'll keep it. New developments happening all the time dealing with the Cuban crisis. We expect to learn more today about the mystery pilot who appeared on Cuban TV last night after leaving South Florida.
Also today in Eyewitness News, Christy Kruger has more of her Eye on Health special report. When seconds count, you'll get a special CPR lesson and find out how to help save your child if he or she is burned or even has a high fever.
And it's Spay Day, and the Broward Humane Society is hoping you'll bring in your cat or dog and get it spayed. And it's all for free.
That's a good deal.
Yeah.
We'll see you tomorrow morning. Good morning, America, and Key West now.
Bye.
Eyewitness News, South Florida's #1 choice for news and information on the one and only Channel 10.
This is a Channel 10 editorial with Channel 10 Vice President and General Manager John Garwood.
Because the Metro Commission decided not to leave well enough alone, Dade voters will see 4 questions on the March 12th ballot that could weaken the power of Dade's strong mayor. The only one that deserves a yes vote is the one that allows one mayor succeeding another to appoint the county manager. For the others, the vote should be no. No to letting a commission chairman instead of the mayor preside over the commission and appoint committee members. No to a mayor's veto being overridden by a majority plus one of the commissioners at a meeting. And no for a measure letting 8 commissioners instead of 2/3 remove a county manager or overrule a mayor's right to do so. Some commissioners worry about too much power for a strong mayor, but the real power is in the hands of Dade voters. They should exercise that power to keep the mayor strong.
This has been a Channel 10 editorial. We encourage the presentation of contrasting points of view.
When I hear people complain about government, the first question I ask is, did you vote? Too often the answer is no, no, no. Look, like it or not, the system belongs to you, to all of us, and it doesn't work if you sit on the sidelines. This election year, Channel 10 is committed to informing you about the candidates and the issues. Then you need to get out and use this and this. Vote. The government is us.
We're taking healthcare in a new direction. To a place where people care. About health, about costs, about people. We're Tenet South Florida Health System. A network of 8 local hospitals, 36 specialized healthcare facilities, and over 3,200 of South Florida's finest physicians. A single entity with a single goal. Keeping you healthy. It's not a new idea.
It's a new way of getting there. A better way. Tenet. Redefining healthcare. For a no-cost, no-obligation physician referral, call 1-800-96-TENET.
How to take control when seconds count. Tonight, starting at 5.